Welcome to another episode of Ozfish. Dave here, let's get some. What I've done in this episode is that I put together a compilation of videos that I've shot at Lostock Dam over the last 3 to 4 years. And just to show you guys what's possible to catch in the smallest impoundment of all the impoundments that we actually have in the Hunter Valley. And that dam does hold some truly incredible fish, and over the years I've caught some really good fish up there, up to like my biggest fish up there is about a 52, and over the last 4 to 5 years of fishing it a fair bit, I have hit half a dozen fish that were actually bigger than that. You can just tell when you hit them they're just that next class up, and yeah, I've blown those fish. They've ran me around structure and around logs. A couple of fish I pulled hooks on, but yeah, I'm just really trying to sting a fish up there 55, because none of my mates that I know have actually hit a 55 in Lostock Dam, and yeah, there's a few there, and anyway, that's what I'm actually trying to catch. So yeah, you'll see on this episode, you'll see some really big fish, but what makes the fish up there so big is that they're actually really round fish. They're just, you know, they're just incredible fish. They're like footballs, and you don't sort of get fish like that in Lake St Clair. And I haven't fished Glenbourne. I know they get some really good fish in Glenbourne, but man, the fish at Lostock, they're like footballs, and they really are incredible. But so I just thought I'd show you some of the really sort of basic techniques that I've been using to catch the fish over the last 4 to 5 years, and these are the techniques that I've caught all the fish on the video that you're about to watch, and they're just really basic techniques, but they've belted me, you know, some really fantastic fish. Without a doubt, a lot of those fish have actually been caught on paddle tails. Now, the paddle tail took me a little bit of time to get my head around. And I think what happens is, you know, it takes a while to get some good numbers of fish under your belt. But once you build up confidence with the paddle tail, it truly is an unbelievable bass catching tool. Able to catch bass in 1 foot of water down to, you know, you name it, depending on weight you're using, you know, down to 35, 40 feet, suspending fish, 45 feet, you know, and even deeper. So it's really incredible. They really are incredible. But I just want to show you 2 paddle tails that I use in Lostock Dam. So the first paddle tail that I want to show you is a 2-inch fish arrow. This one's in AU, the colour AU. And yeah, this is an absolutely like deadly paddle tail in all the dams, particularly in Lostock Dam. Made in Japan. They make some great stuff. But man, I've absolutely sort of like caught so many big bass on this paddle tail. So they come in really fantastic colours. You know, that's an AU colour. But they'll come in lots of different fantastic natural colours. Different shades of green and pumpkin and yeah, even grey, and all the colours catch bass. But yeah, the AU is my favourite colour. So what I like to do with the plastics is, you know, I'm using different size jig heads on it, depending on the depth I'm using. I'm using, you know, 1/8 size jig heads to 1/6, which is my favourite all round, up to 1/4 if the fish are down a little bit deeper. And yeah, I really love those sort of like those painted coloured jig heads. Yeah, they just make the lure look so cool. But what I like to do is I like to have different profile sizes on the fish arrow, just to see what the bass want on the day. So here's a longer profile, longer lure. Some days they're on that. And yeah, here's a profile kind of like in the middle, or sometimes just a tiny bit smaller. So yeah, if you're in your tackle store, they're hard to get, but if you're in your tackle store and you come across some fish arrows, definitely grab some colours. And if they've got AU, yeah, grab 2 or 3 packs because they're absolutely awesome. And another paddle tail that I've had a lot of success on is the Eco Gear in the eel, in these sort of like just kind of like natural colours. So again, what I love to do is yeah, I love to have them in different profiles. So here's a longer, you know, Eco Gear eel. Here's one just a little bit shorter. So yeah, here's one a little bit shorter. And sometimes what I do, if the bass are really fussy, sometimes in the winter they get a little bit fussy, but sometimes I'll just shorten them, like right up, to try to entice a bite. And here's one that's really been shortened up. And sometimes that's what the bass want. They want it really, really, really short. So yeah, so you can't go wrong with 2-inch, you know, fish arrow paddle tails and Eco Gear in the eel. Yeah, and they'll belt you a lot of bass, and a lot of the really big bass you see in this video are actually belted, yeah, on the paddle tails. Another lure that I've had an incredible amount of success on at Lostock Dam is a Jackall Genie in the 70mm, and yeah, I've caught so many bass at Lostock on this particular kind of like soft vibe from Jackall. It's a fantastic, fantastic lure. They come in really, you know, beautiful colours. You'll see all these different sorts of natural colours, mauves and purples, like Susie shrimp. Got some nice UV in it, and caught a lot of fish on that when the sun's really bright in the sky. And you can also get the little tiny fellas, and sometimes, yeah, I've caught really big bass on the really little tiny ones when they won't take the bigger ones, but they're fantastic as well. And what I always do is, on the Jackall Genies is, yeah, I always like just attach a blade above them. And the combination of the vibration of the soft vibe with the blade really, really turns the bass on. Well, that particular one I've got rigged weedless, which works fantastic and belts the bass. And what I do with the other ones is that I take the treble and I just cut the bottom treble off so it doesn't catch as much weed or catch in the weed, and it'll bounce over some of the snags if you are lucky enough. So yeah, it doesn't affect your hookup rate, and those little double hooks work fantastic. Yeah. This chartreuse colour, yeah, it's a fantastic colour when the water's like really, really, really dirty, and yeah, they're a fantastic lure. I've caught so many big fish on. I use gold blades if I can get them, silver blades if I can't get the gold, but yeah, they're fantastic, and these are fantastic. You can just buy these, and yeah, you can just swap them, you know, on your lure. Lock down the collar, and yeah, put them onto your soft vibe. This particular blade with a collar on it, it's just a most incredible bit of fishing kit, because what you can do is, yeah, you can fish your soft vibe on it. Whack it on, you're fishing with a soft vibe. You can take that up, you can pick up a paddle tail. What you can do is, yeah, you can just whack a plastic on, and sometimes that's really, really, you know, effective, you know, on the bass. Yeah, they love that. What I've also done, I've also just fished blades, you know, like metal blades with the spinner, and it catches bass as well. Another fantastic thing to do is you can just simply stick them on your jackalls. A lot of guys call this like a dress jackal, and yeah, it'll belt really big fish as well. So you know, the possibilities are really endless. You know, with that blade with a collar on it, so it works fantastic. So I love fishing all my TN50s and TN60s rig weedless with the Gamakatsu hook on the bottom. And sometimes, yeah, what I do is, yeah, like particularly if the water's dirty or just, you know, for something different on the day, yeah, I'll just put a blade above the TN50s and the TN60s, and yeah, it works unreal. And what I'm going to start doing as well is that, like, I'm going to see, I'm just going to do an experiment. It's a little bit larger lipless crankbait, a diver lipless crankbait, but I've got a big, you know, blade here. So yeah, what's going to happen is that this lipless crankbait is going to be running, you know, kind of like nose down, big Colorado, pushing a lot of water, a lot of vibration. And I want to see if I can actually start catching some bass in the dark, you know, on that setup with that Colorado, just pushing water, and see if the bass will smash that. So yeah, like I said, most of these big fish have just been caught on the simple paddle tails, eco gear, 2-inch fish arrows, and yeah, TN50s and TN60s, and the yep, Jackall Genie with a blade. And yeah, very simple, basic techniques, but yeah, they'll smash some fish. The on the spring bite, you know, the bass will really be on the Genie with the blade, and they'll be on the TN50s and the TN60s, you know, in that October, November, December, and that spring bite coming out of winter. They really love that reaction bite. So yeah, it's cool. And I just want to show you the rod and reel that I've caught a lot of those really big bass on, and this is the rod and reel that I use, yeah, for paddle tail fishing. Yeah, so this rod and reel is my favourite, you know, outfit for when I'm fishing with paddle tails. So it's a Dyer brand rod, and it's actually an aging rod, and it's got a matching aging reel with it, like just a 2000 size reel. And what I'm running is I'm running 8-pound braid on it, and I always run, it's kind of like about an 8-pound leader. And I've experimented with lighter leaders. I've gone down to 4, 5 and 6-pound leaders, but I just find that 8 pounds a general great all-round leader for bass in the dam, particularly big bass. You'll catch them on the edge of the weed beds and up in the shallows on 8-pound, and you need 8-pound when you're going to go hunting them big dogs in around the rock walls and around the trees and like that. And still, you'll get blown away, you know, on 8 and 8, but it's really light. Now this rod is incredibly light in your hands. It's the lightest rod I've ever fished with, and incredibly enough, this rod is actually rated to take 1 to 3 pound line, which is amazing. But yeah, so but I run 8-pound on it, and I've actually broke the tip off it and put another tip on the end. So I broke a little bit off the end. They're 6'10" rods, but mate, they are just the most beautiful finesse rod I've ever actually used for paddle tail fishing. And yeah, so when I'm fishing a paddle tail, I really love to really sort of shake the rod and wind it and shake and get plenty of that sort of movement in the tip of the rod, and make that soft plastic sort of like shimmer as it's coming through the water. And yeah, that's how I fish, and that's how I belt all my bass, you know, with the yeah, counting them down through the water column. But you know, beautiful, like, you know, I'm always sort of moving and like shaking that rod, you know, like, and this tip is incredible when I'm moving it. But yeah, that's my favourite paddle tail outfit. Yeah, here's a Jackall Genie rigged up on this rod. Yeah, shizzy shrimp, nice UV, beautiful lure. You know, like yeah, when it's really bright and sunshine, the bass love that. Rigged on a silver blade. And yeah, I'm using another expensive rod, like a this is a like a Dyer Commander, electric strawberry. And when I'm actually fishing my lipless crankbaits, the TN60s and 50s, this is my heavy outfit. Yeah, this has got like yeah, 15-pound braid on it, you know, and I'm running a 14-pound leader, 2,500 size reel, and actually a 6 to 12-pound rod. Something I'd kind of like use for snapper, but yeah, sometimes in around them sticks and them rock walls, man, this is just an epic rod for pulling them, just muscling them out of the weed and out of the trees, and a little bit heavy in your hand. If I had the money, I'd get a Samaki C12. This is a Zing Extreme, Samaki Zing Extreme. And I had a couple of ZRTs over the years, but unfortunately, yeah, I broke both of them. Beautiful rods, nothing wrong with that's really operator error, nothing to do with Samaki, because the ZRT was an absolutely epic rod for bass fishing. But yeah, and black with the purple belly is one of my all-time favourite colours in Lostock. Yeah, there's a TN50 rigged weedless. And again, in black with a purple belly. So this is a 4 to 8 pound rod. But it's an old rod I've had for years. Had this rod for 12 years. It's a heavy rod. And you know, when I'm belting these round, I like that feeling of that heavy rod. And 2,500 size Luvius, a really old Luvius, 10 pound braid, 14 pound leader. But yeah, the bass aren't worried about your 14 pound leader. And again, I can muscle fish out of the weed and out of the structure on this outfit. So anyway, yeah, I hope you enjoy the video. There are some cracking bass on the video that I've actually caught in Lostock Dam. And you can see the techniques that I'm using are just very simple, very basic. And yeah, if you put in the time in that particular dam, you will catch some trophy bass. So I hope you enjoy the video.